just do? Was that a camera? Did you just take my picture? I didn't consent to that. I'm not going to sign a model's release. Honestly, I don't understand why you all insist on doing this. Cameras, recording devices, really? Have we lost all sense of decorum and boundaries? You livings with your little gadgets always snooping about, invading our spaces. We ghosts aren't just here for your photo safari, you know. We're here trying to have our own existences, minding our own business. You should try it. Used to be so simple. World was a better place when a little bit of ectoplasm down the walls used to send people running for the hills. I could just let out a whisper, little ooh, and everybody would just scatter like cockroaches when the lights came on. That was respect. That was a solid, time-honored tradition of fear. But no more. Now it's all setting up cameras and let's capture her voice on tape. And let me tell you, nobody ever asks for my permission. Ever. Aren't there laws in this state about recording people without their consent? Do you have any idea how mortifying it is to be caught unawares when you're being recorded? The things I've said about my sister that I would never have said if I thought they would get out. It was a conversation between me and Edith down the hall. Oh, Edith, yes. You haven't seen? Oh, she's clever. She just usually does these little orbs things that people dismiss as being dust motes. It's brilliant of her, actually. If only I could manage that sort of form, but no. I haven't nailed it yet. The most I can manage is a sort of amorphous cloud, and that doesn't help much, does it? Still looks very ghostly when there's just a cloud in the middle of a hallway. But even she gets caught unawares sometimes when she's just having a chat. People listening in, recording. And it's not as if we're ever saying anything profound. We're just having a little gossip. Talking about the state of affairs in the afterlife, who we're going to vote for in the next election. No, not that election. What is it with you livings always thinking we want to vote in your affairs? We don't care what you do. We have our own elections, thank you very much. And frankly, for all the worrying and complaining and fear-mongering you livings do about it, you would all be better off if some dead folk were voting in your elections. I've seen what you people elect. But I promise you, we are busy with our own affairs. You think living politics are complicated. Try dealing with spectral bureaucracy. And then there's you, recording me, catching me mid-sentence. Have you ever been caught mid-complaint? It's not flattering. And frankly, complaining is what we spend most of our time doing. But there we are, just minding our own business, having a little bitch and a moan, and all of a sudden someone comes along with the photos. The absolute nerve of the lot of you, snapping photos of me, and I'm all wisp and mist, catching me at the worst angles every time. There I am, floating along, bothering no one, and then click. Bam. I'm in the middle of turning around. I look like absolute smog. Nobody ever thinks to ask, hey, is this a good time for a picture? No? No. You just whip out that camera of yours and flash away, honestly. I miss the days when seeing a ghost meant you would scream, you drop your candle, and you run for your life. At least that was a compliment. Now you're all so fascinated. Oh, look, a ghost. Like we're some kind of exhibit in a museum. But you know, while you're using haunted houses as if they're tourist attractions, I've got news for you. We actually live here. Well, okay, we don't actually live, technically. But you know what I mean. We live here. You get the idea. You are invading our privacy. coming into my space with your blinking lights and your ridiculous little EMF meters. Oh, don't think I don't know what those are. Ugh. Beep, 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 beep. Oh, you sound ridiculous and so loud. And for what? Just to confirm that, yes, I am standing right there, getting annoyed with you? What a groundbreaking discovery. Bravo. You know what the real kicker is? I was looking forward to a little bit of fun when you showed up. We're coming up to Halloween. You're going to get all sorts of amateurs trying to scare themselves. I've been working on the old get out. That hiss, it's a classic. A real staple of ghosting, really. I had high hopes. I thought, oh, this is going to give him a good fright. Send him running. What do? You just froze. You just stood there, wide-eyed and startled like a deer in the headlights. And I thought to myself, thank goodness, at last I've got someone who has the decency to be frightened. It's been ages since I've seen someone react with such a genuine look of shock. And then you recover, you remember yourself, and instead of running, you click. Here's what you and all of those ghost hunters like you don't get. There is an art to haunting. Back in the day, we took pride in our art. We had standards. There was subtlety and elegance, and you give them just enough to question their reality, just a faint brush of cold air, a shadow moving in the corner of their eye, and they are out the door. But now, you all have such insatiable curiosity. You've ruined the game. There's no surprise. There's no thrill of the unknown anymore. You're always poking and prodding and demanding answers like we're supposed to perform for you. Perform! Huh. We're not circus acts. But I will give you credit. You did startle well. That was a good startle. Even when I came back for the second one, you weren't running, but there was that delightful little quiver in your voice when you said, who's there? I could tell you weren't actually expecting me. As prepared as you thought you were, I thought you weren't actually expecting me. I have to admit, it was a little bit flattering, in a way, to be the source of such genuine fear for just a moment. All right. But for that moment, it was like old times again. Now, I will say, I've dealt with better and I've dealt with worse. I had a guy in here last week. Oh, what a piece of work he was. So full of bravado. Oh, it was disgusting. He kept waving around a crucifix like he was auditioning for some low-budget horror flick I couldn't resist. So, I knew he was scared out of his wits to begin with. I mean, yes, he was there. He was trying to be bold and brash, but nobody behaves like that if they're not terrified. So all I had to do was come up behind him, whisper, "Boo!" right in his ear. And you wouldn't believe it. He dropped the cross, ran so fast he fled out the window. The window. Honestly. I hadn't laughed like that in decades. He was cartoonishly afraid underneath that very thin veneer of bravado. You're kind of the opposite, though, aren't you? You started off afraid, but you've been pretty calm ever since. You haven't tried to cleanse the room with sage, anyway, so points for that. I appreciate a ghost hunter who doesn't immediately resort to smoke and chanting. Frankly, it's rude. And the exorcists as well. Can you imagine someone barging into your living room, burning some herbs and chanting at you in Latin? Not exactly a warm welcome. Though, the one benefit to the building becoming dilapidated is people don't try to get rid of me anymore. Once upon a time, they wanted to live here. I had to actually fight people for which one of us would stay. I don't know why they ever thought they could win that fight. I mean, frankly, they're fighting for a place to stay. I was fighting for my life. Or, well, again, you know what I mean. Anyway, I suppose what I'm saying is you've been kind of tolerable. Which is a rarity these days, you know. Most of your kind are a bit intrusive. But I like you. You've got a good startled face. I like that. Now, I'm not saying we're friends or anything. No need to get ahead of ourselves there or anything, but, you know, this little chat hasn't been the worst thing I've experienced. It's actually been, well, it's been almost pleasant. You've got a decent sense of humor, too. Even if you're a bit nosy with your equipment. Oh, and don't think I've forgotten about that unauthorized photo you took earlier. Really, that is just rude. I looked like a complete mess in that shot, didn't I? Hair all over the place. Or, well, the idea of hair, anyway. But that's not the point. You could at least give a ghost some warning. Maybe next time I'll try to look a bit more spectral chic. But anyway, I've enjoyed our little back and forth here, despite your initial intrusion. And I suppose, if you ever wanted to pop by again, without all the gadgets and gizmos, mind you, I wouldn't be entirely opposed. I don't get a lot of company these days. It's refreshing, you know, to have someone to chat with. Well, someone, aside from Edith. Someone who doesn't immediately scream and run. So, if you're ever in the area, and you could, I don't know, maybe drop by, or maybe we'll swap some ghost stories. Just don't bring any of those voice boxes or recorders like that, okay? I'd hate to have to hunt you properly for that. All right. Time for you to go. You've been sufficiently haunted for one evening. But next time, expect a little more courtesy, do you understand? A ghost has her standards. All right, then. Bye-bye and be well. Oh, and don't forget to tell your ghost hunter friends that I'm terrifying, all right? Ghoul's got to keep her reputation intact. All right, now you go. I'll be around. Bye-bye. Hey, Cupcakes. Thank you all for sticking around for yet another story. I hope you enjoyed that one. Thank you all for your time and your attention, and for all your likes, comments, and shares and subscriptions. It's very kind of you. I have a special welcome to Icarus, who's my newest patron, and a big, huge thanks to my highest tier level patrons. There's Lucid Sloth, Noah Benner, Logan, Eerie Ghost, Nikki, Billy Harden, Loot Curator, Limonic Cultist, Dan, Confused But Still Here, Bowman, Alton Goodbottle, Disbanded Crow, Techo, Amphizenas, Gunner's Mage, Mushan Gaming, Tomas Rogers, Your Skateboarding Wolfie, Benny99, Barry Wilburn, Esteed, SLE Photo, Harper Evolution, Justin, Wolf9004, Malicilo, Army Guy 007, Mr. Fabulous, Lou, Bunny, Tiny the Taxman, Meryl, Mr. Rickles, Anand, Darth Mythish, Red Death 48. Welcome back to Always Able, who was away in basic training, and we're glad to have him back. Vagar, Moon, Old Bean UK, Kulu Bear, The Swaggy Llama, Artlo, Pierce Tailish, and Christian Cleopa. And also, thank you to Anonymous for the gift card on my throne. I hope you will all be as good to yourselves as you are to me. And I will talk to you on Tuesday. Take care.